So good evening or good morning everyone, depends where you are. We are here at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for the F2 qualifying. I'm your commentator Frabai. Yari unfortunately couldn't join us today because he had a busy schedule. So I'll be doing the commentating today. So we are waiting for everyone to leave the pits and start qualifying. So we see the first cars already going out into the track, so we'll get everything ready here. There you go. So IP is the first one to go on track for a time lap, first across the line. So yeah, let's talk a bit about Spa-Francorchamps. It's a tricky track, of course. Here we see IP going down the Camel Straight, which is the best place to overtake, for sure. So we'll see a lot of overtakes there. The rest is quite tricky to overtake, as narrow corners were quite high-speed corners. So yeah, we'll see a lot of action down the Camel Straight. It's important to take Eau Rouge and Radillon very good, which are both probably the most difficult corners on the track, because yeah, it's easily to slip away and lose the rear end of the car. So yeah, we'll be joining IP on his out lap. Almost everyone on the soft tires, except for Iceland with Flair, is looking for trying to take a good lap with those mediums. Iceland with Flair, our last winner from last weekend in Silverstone. Excellent job from him, as it was starting to rain in the last couple of laps, which caused quite some carnage down on the track. So we'll take you through the standings as well as we join IP going through the bus stop into his first time lap. So the standings as it is from now in round 5 of Belgium, which is still in the lead with 66 points, he is 31 points in front of the Kid Zico, who is in second. In third, Arrow Blake. In fourth, Chima Winnie. In fifth, Iceland with Flair, who thanks to his win in Silverstone got 25 points, which brings him up to fifth. Sixth, Selvanek. 7, Cole Baseball Stud. 8, Frisky Biscuit. In P9 is Silver Eagle, and in P10 to round up the top 10 is Neuro Pirate. So I'm going through 11th, Quaker Oat. 12, Pinnacle. 13, Johnny. 14, this IP we are now seeing in his fast lap. In 15, Frank Efron. In 16, Hulse. 17, Skullface. 18th, MGT. 19th, Aryan, and without any points in 20th, still Raz. Let's hope for him he could get some points. Setting a very tight lap so far, going to Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane, which is a very nice part of the track. At least that's what I found. Important to keep it in line so not get any penalties there. IP crosses the line and goes 142.9. So let's see for the rest. Ian coming through and sets himself on provisional pole, but yeah, only 2 drivers at a time, so he is in 142.8, almost a tenth quicker. We join Arrow Blake, who has crossed a bit over the line and goes into the pits because he invalidated his lap, which isn't what he was looking for. But no, Downward Witcher, our standing leader, coming into the bus stop chicane. Johnny going out of the way, very good for Witcher. And he sets himself a very good lap with a 142.4, almost 4 over 4 tenths quicker actually than Aryan goes. So that's very good for him. It looks like Gmo, yeah, Gmo stopped his lap. So we see Skullface coming over the line. Sets himself a P5, so he will be looking to improve his lap as he's over 1 second slower. So yeah, Isla with Flair on the medium tires as well as Johnny, both looking for a good lap, except for Isla who already crossed the track limit. So we'll be going on board with Johnny as he's the only other guy on the mediums, see where the mediums can perform. So yeah, they're definitely looking for a different strategy. Pinnacle went into P2. So good round for him. Still 2 tenths down on Witcher, which looks like a very good lap from Witcher. So on board with Johnny. Again, going through Stavelo here, next corner. And then the bus stop chicane, which is quite a tricky chicane, of course very slow, but you need to really cut into those corners without crossing the line. So there Johnny crosses the line in P9 with a 144.1. So going on board with WC, trying to set his first timed lap. Such also a long circuit, Spa. The longest circuit there is in the F1 calendar. It's over 7 kilometers, I believe. I'm probably right about that. Yeah, 7 kilometers. So I'm sure it's tricky to keep the car every lap going for, yeah, between the lines and keeping the times up. But it's only one lap. They need to really perform well in qualifying. As WC almost loses the rear end of the car. He goes into P7, and there Isla with Flair, who is as well crossing the line now in P10. So Johnny and Isla both on the medium tires are P10 and P11, so probably not what they were looking for on their strategy. Might have to come back into the pits to change those tires into softs depending what they are looking for. So we'll have a look with those Arrow Blake and Silver Eagle, both trying to set themselves a time which puts them in the order. So we'll ride aboard with Arrow Blake putting a sector 2 of 30 seconds. I believe sector 1 30 seconds. Sorry. I think Spa is one of the most beautiful tracks on the calendar for F1. A lot of drivers like it as well. It's just a very difficult and very tricky track. That's probably the biggest problem that they have. But for us, I don't think anyone everyone loves it. I'm trying to say before my complete brain cells cut off, but here we are going with Arrow Blake, who crosses the line now in a 142.5, which brings him into P2. Very good lap from him. Just 1/10 down on the widget, so we're looking to improve next lap. We're looking at Silver Eagle coming through the bus stop chicane, trying to set himself into a time. He crossed the line with a 143.2 into P9. So the total top 10 now is on soft tires. So we're looking at Iceland with Flair, who's still in the pits, who has set a time lap with medium tires. So he might change it. Johnny already changed into the soft tires, wanting to put in a good lap for him, of course. As we go aboard with our currently pole position holder, Witcher, starting his time lap, just coming out of Lassour's hairpin, going to a Rouge and Radion, so we'll take you quickly through every part of the circuit as well. There was a Rouge and Radion, two different corners. A lot of people think it's just one corner. And that small corner with Camel onto the Camel straight. This is the straight what I meant with a lot of opportunities to overtake because of the strong DRS and slipstream opportunities. And a quick right lefter into, I believe, what is now called Bruxelles. Not sure about that, but since 2007 they call it that. And this very fast left-hander. Careful not to take too much curb and spin off on the inside. That's definitely not what we want. We're just seeing some traffic in front of him. They both got out of the way. Very good. So Rich already 2/10, almost 3/10 down on his provisional pole lap. So if he continues like this, he will put a very low 142, which gives him a great opportunity for pole position. But of course, pole position doesn't mean everything. You need to really nail the start and get away before the Camel straight, which really we saw some great slipstreaming. I don't know if you know that, but Sebastian Vettel a couple of years ago really well in Lewis Hamilton there. You could see the slipstream coming in handy for him. So that's a big part, without DRS taking the slipstream into those, onto the straight. As we look at Pinnacle, it sets a fastest sector 2. So currently in P4, looking for a top 3 of course. Through the bus stop chicane and crossing the line into P3 with a 142.4, which is definitely quicker than he put last lap. Taking a look with Frisky Biscuit on board here. Who is improving on his lap time by 3/10, which is quite a big margin. He'll be looking for a top 6, top 5 spot. Depends on his sector 3. Really needs to put in a good sector 3 and pass Blanchimont, which is a lovely corner also for overtaking with DRS into the bus stop chicane. We'll see that in the race. Well, Frisky Biscuit going into the pits. Iceland with Flair, who has come out of this session. Looks like he has just come off at Radion. So unfortunate for him. Selfnick, who invalidated his lap time going into the pits. Smart move from him. So yeah, almost everyone in the pits currently. Rez putting those medium tires in a 145, which isn't best of laps. So not sure if those medium tires will be the best choice for qualifying. As we're wide on board with Skullface, who goes through Blanchimont now. I think he's on a fast lap as well. One of the only guys out there. Yes, so he crosses the line very soon now. Hoping to improve. He improves, but only to P12. Put in 2 laps on these soft tires. So So I have a couple of guys on their out laps now. You see IP, Cole Baseball Stud, WC all on their out laps. Well, Silver Eagle, followed quite close by Johnny, who might could get a bit of a slipstream. First one who will set a timed lap will be Gmo Winnie, who just is able to keep his car into the track. So come up at Lesueur's hairpin. Tricky hairpin. If you get it wrong, then you end up quite far next to the track, which isn't what you want, but always able to happen. Here he is behind one of the Red Bulls. So it seems Sector 1 is quite busy now with a lot of cars following each other on their out laps or on their fast laps. Could deal with some traffic. Gmo Winnie hasn't set a time yet, so he's improving himself already, of course. We'll see where he ends, of course, in the standings. Coming into the bus stop chicane. Looks like a tight left from Gmo. And he crosses line P5. Really good left from him with a 142.6. Jesus, okay, man. More difficult than I would have thought. Immediately thinks that he's the best he could do. So yeah. Johnny from the 12th place trying to improve his time. Instead of fast lap to 12th place where it lap on those medium tires, now changed to the softs. So it's backing off this lap, looks like it. So who have we got left on a time lap? So yeah, that's probably all qualifying done. That's the end of qualifying, I don't think. Let's see if anyone is improving. But with Arrow Blake, who's currently sitting in P4, still able to improve his lap time. Definitely not improving on a slower lap. Frisky Biscuit invalidates lap time, so he'll be staying on P11. Johnny looking to improve. And Quaker coming over the line in P7, so he definitely improved on his final lap. Left it late. As Selvanik even takes pole position. So good lap from him. Only guy who is in the 141s. Really good lap from him. Sorry I wasn't showing that. But really good lap from him. I'm sure he's happy with that. That is our qualifying done. I didn't leave anyone. Well, that's our qualifying done. Let's take us quick through the lineup for the race. It's Selvanik who takes pole position with a 141.8, which is a very, very good lap from him. At second place, it's our standing leader, Witche. In third, and round up the top three, is Pinnacle. Really good lap as well with a 142.3. Aryan taking the top four, and then in fifth place, Arrow Blake, 6th, Gma Winnie. 7th, Quaker, 8th is WC, in 9th, IP. 10th, Silver Eagle, 11th, Cold Baseball Stud, 12th, Frisky Biscuit. In P13 it's Johnny, P14 Skullface, and P15 Isolate with Flare. And in P16 it's Raz, and P17 what I believe is MGT. If I'm correct, his name doesn't show up for me, which is a annoying bug in the game, which I sometimes have, but I believe it was GMT. Correct me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, but as you see, the times were very close in qualifying, so this could give us a really enjoyable Belgian Grand Prix. So far it's dry. In last week in Silverstone we saw a bit of rain coming at the end, which the drivers had to take the intermediate tires. So it was fun to spectate, but probably difficult to drive, keeping the car on the track limits as well. So the drivers now drive away for their formation lap, which is Selvanik leading the pack. So let's, yeah. Let's see the tire choices of everyone. Top 10 of course starting on those soft tires, then we've got some free choices around here. Cold Baseball Stud, Frisky Biscuits, both starting on the medium tires from P11 and P12. Splitting them is Johnny with the soft tire, Skullface with the soft tire, and then Isolate with Flare and Raz. Isolate with Flare starting on the mediums, Raz starting on the softs, and from P17 MGT with the medium tires. So interesting what he can do with those medium tires. Can he last them? Maybe hoping for a safety car. We saw a couple of safety cars coming out in GP2 and in F4, so if you haven't seen that, I would recommend checking both out, because both were exciting races. I drove in the GP2. Unfortunately Belgium wasn't my track. Got a lot of penalties, so let's hope drivers here today can keep their cars on track better than I could. Otherwise it would be quite a horrifying race for them, I can tell you. So yeah, today I was actually should have been joined by Yari. Unfortunately couldn't make it. He won both races of GP2. Is the GP2 leader. So yeah, really good racing from him. So let's hope today we'll see some good racing from everyone. I expect they do, because if you look at the qualifying times, it was really close. Top 10 only split by just a bit over 1 second, so see how the race pace goes. So the drivers are coming up to their grid position, lining up, just warming up their tires a bit. So we'll be waiting till the entire grid has formed, and we can start racing. So let's see, where can we get a good camera? Looks like from here. Yeah, for sure from here, get the best view. This is a weird bug. But there, the lights are coming on. We're waiting for 5 red lights. And the lights are out, and away we go. Looks like a solid start from almost everyone there in the back, with the McLaren and the AlphaTauri just getting some touch there. Selvenik through the first corner, maintaining his P1 position. Looking further back down the field, quite close to each other. We'll be taking a look as Witcher takes P1 from Selvenik. Really close here. Will Selvenik outbrake Witcher, or is Witcher able to take that P1? Now Selvenik backs out of that corner, doesn't want to damage his front wing. And Witcher already into P1 after the first couple of corners. So good racing from him. So here we see our pit stop strategy. Brought to you by Pirelli. So it's a one-stop preferred choice from the soft to the hard. But possibly we could see a change in pit stops, as we could have a couple of safety cars as well. So top 5 really close to each other, as we have a yellow flag in sector 2 already. Looks as Raz. No, it's WC was come off. He damaged his front wing as well. It's another good start for him, not what he was after. Raz also damaged his front wing, so might have been some contact between those two. As we see another car. Yeah, so it's a hectic. Selvenik is already out of the session. Starting from pole position, he's out of this session. That's not good for him. So this gives Pinnacle a guaranteed P2, and there's a safety car out already, first lap. So this could come in very handy for Skullface and IP, as well as Isol with Flair and Raz both going into the pits. So just on time. Safety car came for them. WC also with a DNF had that front wing damage already around I believe Stavolo. So Skullface changing on a new front wing. Just coming in front of Isol with Flair, who has also pitted into the hards, so he'll be trying to make those hards go last a couple of rounds. Hopes maintain them to the end. Yeah, will be very difficult, as of course this is a 7-kilometer track with a lot of high-speed corners, which could end up damaging the car, or at least saving the car, not sure. But we'll see at the end. Let's see the stops. So Skullface, Iceland, IP and Raz will stop. Couple Skullface and Raz I know had a front wing change as well. So IP stopped once, went onto the soft, so he's on a interesting strategy. So yeah, there's a different pit stop strategy for everyone, so yeah, we don't want to look at that. Quaker, who got a 5-second penalty, really wanting to make that up in the race. The race is still long, only 2 laps done. Very early safety car. So as we see a group of 4, and if that predicted pit stop strategy could just go away, that would be terrific. We don't need to see everything. Quaker coming into the pits, is he going to serve his 5-second penalty? That's the big question. Arrow Blake pitted into the hard tires under the safety car, so that's taking some time away from him. Quaker also serving his 5-second penalty, changing his front wings and his tires. So this is quite a long pit stop for him, taking him probably right back to the field. But thanks to the safety car, the gaps are really close to each other when they start racing. Pinnacle gets a 5-second warning, as well as Aryan, both for collisioning with each other. It's very important to keep the gaps during the safety car, because otherwise you get things like this. A 5-second penalty for both drivers. That's not what they wanted. Both currently in podium positions, but will have to put their pace up a significant part. They both have 5 seconds. Yeah, we'll see what happens today with penalties. Oh, I'm very sorry for that. We're, yeah, for penalties as it's Belgium, just like Silverstone last week, it's quite easy to cross the line on the track and get a couple of warnings which result into penalties in the end. So we'll have a look at that. Safety car will or come in this lap or we'll do one lap after this. Frisky Biscuit and Johnny both getting penalties as well for collisioning. So this is what happened a couple of times before already. Drivers driving into each other during safety car periods, which is unfortunate for them. And safety car coming in this lap. Race control just gave us that message, as you can probably see. Let's check the tires. Top 9 currently still on the same tire they started with, only 2 laps done of course. And from there a couple of interesting strategies. Aero on the hard tire, Skullface on the mediums, Isolate on the hards, IP the only one who pitted into the softs, Quaker on the hards, and Raz on the mediums. So interesting to see what the rest of the race will bring us. Coming to the bus stop chicane, Richie already on the power quite early. And there Arjan, who went into the pits right as the safety car comes in, so I'm not sure what his strategy is to serve the penalty maybe. Richie already having a 1.2 second gap, so really good restart from him. Looking to build up the gap with Pinnacle. Look further down the field where it's really close racing. Skullface and P9, and there Isolate with Flare looks, no, that's not Isolate with Flare, I'm very sorry. That's MGT went off. We saw him spinning at Radillon. So unfortunate for him, he lost the car. So that's what I said, Eau Rouge and Radillon, as Quaker is off as well. Unfortunate for him, having to change his tires already. And a new front wing already off as well. So we have 3 drivers DNF, which is unfortunate for them. So we'll probably see a couple of gaps forming. We already see Pinnacle is 1.4 seconds behind Witcher. Here, yeah, on those different strategies around P8, there's an interesting battle forming. We're soon looking for DRS. Camel Straight to see a couple of nice overtakes, of course. Cole is closing the gap to Silver Eagle on those medium tires. So Air Blake really good from him on those new pitted for those new tires already into P7, really close to the top 10 or the top 5. I mean, sorry, top 6. Closing in Skullface, going down the source hairpin. Want to get good traction from here into Eau Rouge and Radillon, which are 2 very difficult corners, as we saw already a spin. First one today, I believe. So no DRS yet, so everything has to be done with slipstreaming. But yeah, you see the gaps can close with slipstreaming, just not enough to overtake for Isolate with Flare. It'll be tricky to overtake in the rest of the track. Apart from around Blanchimont, there it's really, yeah, slipstreaming can come in really handy. As we watch Pinnacle closing in on Witcher, with of course that 5-second penalty. Yeah. Pinnacle and Frisky Biscuit the only ones who haven't served their 5-second penalty yet, as they're not pitted as well. So Arjan dropping back to the field after his penalty serving and pit stop, as we see Gmo Winnie getting a 3-second penalty. That's what I meant. It's really difficult to keep the car on track every lap, going for 22 laps without getting a penalty. So might not be the last one we see. So we see Cold Baseball start really going slow through the bus stop chicane and losing quite a lot of time. And Aero Blake just over to Frisky Biscuit. Frisky Biscuit really close. 2 arrows still. IP joining them on his different tires, so he might have a tire advantage going through the Camel Straight. We'll be having a look at this 3-way battle for P6. Gmo Winnie just not close enough, hoping for DRS in the next round. As Frisky Biscuit goes around past Aero Blake, who stays in the inside. He just... Frisky Biscuit really good racing there. Aero Blake wanting to come back at Frisky Biscuit, but just... there is just not enough room in those corners. A really good overtake from Frisky Biscuit, really good racing from both of them. Currently this is our closest battle with the 3 drivers, Frisky Biscuit, Aero Blake and IP both. All 3 within a second. As Cold Baseball still gets a 3-second penalty. Another driver getting a penalty for multiple warnings crossing the track and or crossing the lines. So we see our top 3 drivers coming into the pits. That means Frisky Biscuit moves up to 4th place. Currently on, so most of the drivers are on mediums, which is a logical choice. Not sure if they'll make it to the end, but they could do a 2-stop strategy. We see Aero Blake and Isle with Flair, as Aero Blake and IP are having a good battle at the end of the Camel Straight, which is a good place for overtaking. Just Aero Blake managed to keep him in front. Lux is right front bit, but not too much that he loses a vast amount of time there. He is out of the DRS range of Frisky Biscuit, so IP has a good chance. As Bitch passes Raz, which was our race leader. Of course now down to P9 thanks to its pit stop. For him, he doesn't have too much traffic to deal with. Skullface just out of the DRS zone, Isle with Flair. IP falling a bit back off of Aero Blake, who is still in the DRS zone of Frisky Biscuit, so looking for a overtake if he can keep it going. Isle with Flair getting a 3-second time penalty. So it says pit window is open for the softs, but most of the drivers have pitted already due to the safety car as well coming out early on in the race. Aero Blake is still getting a DRS just outside of 1 second, but thanks to DRS detection, so he's trying to close the gap, hoping he can keep the gap within the 1 second, so we'll get DRS next lap around to try and make that overtake. We'll see some gaps are falling. Silver Eagle still within a second of Quaker on those new medium tires, just pitted this lap, so we're looking to close that gap and take over P9. So we see almost everyone has already made a pit stop except for our top 3 drivers, who all 3 already also have a penalty, with Gma and Cole Baseball still getting both a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And Frisky Biscuit getting a 5-second penalty from that from a collision during the safety car. As Iceland Flair is our first driver to get a second penalty, which is worth another 3 seconds, which gives him the 6. So we'll take our position changes as Gma comes into the pits, our race leader. We have a yellow in sector 3. Looks like Cole Baseballstad has spun around right after the bus stop chicane. So will cost him some time and a place to Iceland with Flair, who passes him fairly easy because of the speed advantages. As another driver has a 3-second time penalty, this time around is Johnny, P14, so that's not really what he was looking for. As here Quaker and Gma touch a Silver Eagle, spun around right after his battle with Quaker and Gma. He spins, which is unfortunate for him, as he loses a couple of places to that. Let's have a look. Arrow Blake really close still to Frisky Biscuit within a second. So getting DRS later on for him. Looking for a bit of a slipstream around Blanchimont into the chicane. Not everyone has made a stop yet. Cole, Baseballstad still, and Frisky Biscuit, our race leaders, still having to make a stop, so that will bring Arrow into P1. Let's see if Frisky Biscuit goes into the pits this lap. No, he stays out on those medium tires, lasting already 8 laps. So that's good from him, making those medium tires work really well. Which is setting the fastest lap of the race with a 1:45.9, currently in P5. So after the pit stops of Cole and Frisky Biscuit, that will take him up to P3, I believe. Of course, he doesn't have a time penalty yet, as we see a couple of drivers actually do. So most of them 3 seconds, except for Iceland Flair and Frisky Biscuit. Let's see who are the real. Iceland Flair making up 12 places, and also made his pit stop, so he will make up 13 places, which is really impressive. So good race so far from him. As we have a yellow in sector 1 and 2, it seems like Quaker, and there's a virtual safety car. So right after the Camel Straight, it looks like Quaker went off. Maybe a collision, not sure what happened there, and we have a virtual safety car. So is this convenient for Frisky Biscuit? Not sure what happened to Quaker there. It seems like he had a glitch. It was just mentioned. So that's definitely unfortunate for him. So virtual safety car, drivers have to keep their keep a certain pace and gaps. But yeah, if the safety car, virtual safety car, is still out when Frisky Biscuit is going into the pits, no, it's not so. Frisky Biscuit remains out. As we saw Cole Baseballstad again spinning right after the bus stop chicane. So that's a second time possibly for him, dropping right down the field as he is not moving. See some front wing damage on his right hand side, So right after the pits as well, so it's really unfortunate for him, dropping all the way back to P12. So really unfortunate for him. We'll need to make up a lot of places during the second half of this race. Johnny, who got a drive-through penalty, I believe, for speeding during the virtual safety car, again gets a penalty. Not the best race for him so far. Yeah, he has a drive-through penalty. Isle with Flair, P4, having a 9-second penalty as Frisky Biscuit gets a penalty, which brings him all the way to 8 seconds worth of penalties. So unfortunate for him, running in first place, still having to pits, of course. So this is really unfortunate for him, picking up even more penalties. As he spins and loses a position. Is his front wing damaged as well? We'll have a look. I don't really see. Yeah, it's for sure his front wing is damaged as well. So that's his. He was running so well, but yeah, there's really one mistake can cost you in the entire race. As we see what seems like a Haas causing a yellow flag. It's Cole. Was running so well, but also has front wing damage. Now completely cuts through the grass. I'm not sure what happens for him. Frisky Biscuit, gets another penalty going into the pits. So his race is, he's serving a part of the penalty now. Really unfortunate for him. Was driving so well. Pinnacle looking to close that gap on res and get the DRS. So it seems like everyone has stopped except for Cole, who is running in last, who's coming into the pits now and breaks his front wing. Not sure what was happening to Cole. He was driving so well. Then made 2 mistakes, lost his front wing, and has to come into the pits, and a virtual safety car has been brought out. Not sure if that's the reason. But yeah, unfortunate for him, losing a couple of places. We're running P4, now all the way back down to P13, has to change his front wing as well, which is happening at this moment. He's coming out of the pits, changed the front wing into the hard tires. So everyone has stopped. Pinnacle getting a drive-through penalty as Arjen spins around as well. So we've seen a lot of spins already. Not sure if that's because of the tires or the track. But Arjen causing a yellow flag, but no safety car as he's back on his way. And he spins again, this time into the wall. As last time he didn't have any damage, but now you could definitely see some front wing damage. Yeah, for sure, he has to go back into the pits. Spins into 2 corners. So that's really unfortunate for Arjen, who was running well. Is he coming into the pits? Yes, he is. Raz and Silver Eagle both into the pits, changing to medium tires. So we're now here with Chima, with his DRS open, the inside, and makes that move stick. Takes a little bit of curb, but really good move from Gmo. Goes up to P4, passes Skullface. So Isolate still running P3, made up 12 places so far. Arrow in P1, really good race from him, made up 4 places. Arjen starting from P4, down all the way down to P12 now, on those softs. So we will wanting to last them 9 laps, which is a very difficult task for him. So we'll see what happens during those remaining 9 laps. So all but 4 drivers have got penalties so far during the race. So impressive from Arrow, Witcher, Skullface and Aryan to not get a penalty. As I mentioned before, it's really difficult around here. So Arrow Blake maintaining a gap of around 4 seconds, which is impressive racing from him. So let's see the tired strategy everyone's on. So Arrow Blake on a 10 lap old hard compound is still remaining gap as Pinnacle comes into the pits. He will be dropping his hard tires. Now he's putting on hard tires, sorry. His hard tires already have done 6 laps. That's what the thing gives me, the information. So coming really out close behind Raz. We won't have. He does have DRS. It's really close here. Probably can get the move. Raz defends on the inside. Pinnacle goes by and makes the move stick. Can he get a good exit around here? Of course, there's a high speed, so has to slow down quite a lot. But really good racing from Pinnacle as he comes out of the pits. It's a good move from him. As we see, yeah, there are a couple of... Ooh, Chima coming off. There's we have a yellow flag. As Chima spins around, loses a place to Skullface. It doesn't seem like his front wing is damaged, so that's good for him. He can continue. Doesn't need to go into the pits. Because that would have cost him quite some time as well. Cole is in the pits again, changing his hard tire, which he only took for a 1 lap, changing it into softs, running last, so he, not sure what he is after now, already 50 seconds behind P12 and his teammate Aryan, as we have another yellow flag in Sector 1, looks to be Skullface. Gmo getting a, yeah, coming back inside the 1 second after his mistake. So will he be getting the RS? Yes, he will. Is he close enough? That's the question. 0.8 of a second gap now. Really closing in. But just not enough to make a move on Skullface. So he will be trying to keep that gap within 0.5 of a second to overtake maybe a next round on the Camel Straight. Silver Eagle looks close enough for a move on Raz. Is he making the move? Yes, he is. Early enough to be on the right side for braking, as we have another yellow flag. Only a short one this time. Not sure what happened there. Gmo 4/10 within Skullface, so DRS. He will get DRS next lap if he can keep it going well. So Witcher and Arrow Blake with a gap of 4 seconds between them, and then a 11-second gap to the third driver, Isla with Flair, who is our most current race winner as well, I believe. Yeah, I have that right. So Isla with Flair won the last race, currently in P3, but with a large penalty, 9 seconds. So yeah, that Frisky Biscuit having a 11-second penalty. So yes, Isla only 4 seconds clear of Skullface, so he'll be needing to largen the gap within the next 6 rounds to drop out of the podium positions. So will his tires make it through to the end? That's probably one of the biggest questions there is. As Gmo passes Skullface on the Camel Straight, going into Les Combes. So yeah, that's the position where we see the most overtakes this race again. We always see the most overtakes around the Camel Straight, as it is a powerful DRS straight. Pinnacle and Silver Eagle touching, really close, battling from them as Pinnacle moves into P7. further down the field. Rez on his new soft tires, getting DRS from Arjen, but might just be too far away to make a move on Arjen. That's the important, to close the gap one round and then hope that the gap is still around 5/10 so you can make the move on the Camel Straight the next lap. But yeah, of course it's a 7-kilometer track, so it's really difficult to maintain a half a second gap as Rez crosses the curbs and gets another 3-second penalty. But that was, as I was saying, it's really difficult to keep the gap the entire lap. That's such a long track, so you really need to nail everything as Rez is dropping back a little bit further down. So yeah, he hopes he can make that those tires work, as we see Arjen, or who was, yeah, Arjen spinning off and getting a DNF, spinning off at Stavelo. So as I was saying, Rez making that overtake around the Camel Straight isn't necessary anymore, as Arjen drops out of the race. Really unfortunate for him. Already made a pit stop and a wing change, which is really unfortunate. Only a yellow flag, so no safety car coming in at lap 17, so won't see a strategy and a sprint race. Silver Eagle and Frisky Biscuit really closing in on Pinnacle. So interesting to see a three-way battle going probably all the way to the end. If Silver Eagle can maintain that at least 1 second gap to Pinnacle. Out in front, still Aero on those 13 lap old hard tires, maintaining the same gap as he is doing all race already. So impressive racing from him. So most of the drivers making a 1-stop or 2-stop, as we see a Cole Baseball stop making another error, which causes a yellow flag. Running in P12 already, 1.5 minutes behind on Johnny, so that's really unfortunate for him, not having the best race of his life. He has front wing damage as well, looks like only a little bit, but enough to come into the pits. And again he has to change his front wing. This is the third stop he makes today, as he takes the car into the pits and retires it. We see that quite often. People driving into the pits after driving last. So yeah, unfortunate for him. Our 6th driver to DNF. No points for Haas today. As Frisky Biscuit comes into the pits again. Onto those soft tires, which will only last 4 laps, so he can really push it now. Johnny very close on Rez, getting DRS on a down Camel Straight. Just not able to close enough of the gap to make an overtake. We'll be, as this is our closest battle on track now, we'll be looking at this. Frisky Biscuit, of course, just pitted, so he'll be quick on those soft tires, as he's already quick for the entire race. So will this three-way battle go to the end, or will Johnny just overtake Rez fairly soon, as Rez is already 26 seconds behind Skullface? So it's a battle for P9, but probably nothing much further than that. Let's have a look at the penalties. Will they affect someone's race? Yeah, as I mentioned before, Isle with Flair really, with a 9-second penalty, really unfortunate for him. Will probably drop to P4. as the gap is just not big enough with Gma. Raz having 11 seconds of time penalty. Johnny going down the inside on La Source, which is a very good overtake from him. Going into P9, very good overtake. Don't see them often. Outbraking Raz down La Source hairpin. Raz getting the DRS, wanting to get back. Frisky Biscuit is joining them as well. Going 3 abreast, and Frisky Biscuit overtakes Johnny. And Raz overtakes Johnny as well. But just goes wide and touches the wall there. So Johnny gets that P10 back. Johnny really daring to go down the inside of La Source, but then not getting a DRS really affected him. So maybe the better option was to wait out behind Raz. Raz who got that position back but just made the mistake and goes out wide and losing 2 positions in half a lap, or at least 1 sector. So Silver Eagle really close to Pinnacle, battle for P6. Is he going down the inside of La Source? No, he is not. He will be waiting for his DRS. Pinnacle not getting a DRS from IP, so if he can get a good run out of Rouge and Radion, he has a good chance of overtaking. Let's see what will happen. Really close there. Pinnacle going into the inside, taking the inside line, but DRS is so powerful here around here that Silver Eagle just breezes past Pinnacle. Important for Pinnacle now is to try to stay really close behind Silver Eagle, so that might get a run back for his P6. So Aeroblake extending his lead with another second. Last time we checked it was around 4 seconds, so really convincing in the lead. His tires will probably be a bit worn by now. 17 laps already, but with 12 laps on those medium tires, really doing a good job as well, lasting those tires. So we'll see at the end, will those tires keep their pace or will they drop? As we saw in the GP2 feature race that Yari's tires, he was on the softs, really dropped at the end. So let's hope in the F1 cars the tires can last a little bit better. As we see Isolate going into the wall, losing most of his front wing, just coming out of the into the La Source hairpin, so just after the pits as well, so he'll have to do an entire lap without his front wing, losing a position to Gma, who takes 3rd position on track as well. Was going to get probably the 3rd position anyway because of the penalties. So yeah, IP trying to close that gap with Isolate, as Isolate has quite some penalties today. So we see Pinnacle just not close enough to Silver Eagle to get his P6 back. Those older hard tires. Interesting is Isolate with Flag coming into the pits with that damaged front wing, or will he go on for a I believe 1 lap only? Pinnacle still close to Silver Eagle as Aeroblake crosses the line and we go into the final lap of the race with a 5-second penalty gap. Really convincing drive so far from him, so he'll be hoping to maintain that gap and finish P1. As Johnny gets another penalty, we'll go back to the penalties to see and maybe calculate a bit where everyone's going to finish, as Pinnacle is doing a good job not getting any penalties, so he'll be wanting to stay inside of 3 seconds in the final lap. But of course you might want to overtake Silver Eagle and get that track position as well, which just gives you a better feeling. out of sight of the DRS. Isla Flair gets another penalty. And this will really drop him back to the field. Which will probably drop him from P4 to P8. Somewhere around that. Of course, having that damaged front wing, as we can see here. His right front wing, his wing plate came off. So won't have the best of grip. Frisky Biscuit getting another penalty as well, 12 seconds. But as Johnny has a 12-second penalty and Raz was all the way back, so don't have to worry about him too much. But Johnny having a 12-second penalty as well won't benefit from that extra penalty from Iceland. Oh, from Frisky Biscuit, I'm sorry. As our race leader comes onto the straight and takes the checkered flag. It's P1 for Arrow Blake after a really impressive race from him. As Witcher takes P2. Good race from him as well. Iceland dropping to P5 with that damaged front wing. So we'll be looking at Gmod taking P3. As Iceland loses another place, dropping to P6. So those 12 seconds. As Pinnacle is really close to Iceland as well. He'll be getting that position anyway, but he daring to make that overtake into the bus stop chicane. Just can't make it. Just can't put it side to side to Iceland with Flair. But getting the position anyway, going to P5. Iceland dropping all the way back to the field. Was running so well. And then just dropped his front wing. And dropped his times as well. So coming in P9, Frisky Biscuit. So yeah, let us know who you think the driver of the day should be. In my opinion, probably Arrow Blake, making that one-stop strategy work. With those hard tires, really good racing from him. Makes up 4 positions as well. So we are just waiting for Raz to get past the checkered flag in P11. So that was our Spa-Francorchamps Belgium Grand Prix with race winner Arrow Blake. Really good drive from him. Here the driver of the day is Iceland with Flair. He drove an excellent race, of course, making up a lot of places, but just had a couple of penalties which cost him probably his race. So here we see our podium. Arrow Blake taking the top step of the podium, Witcher in P2. And to round up the podium is Gma with a starting from P6, so making up quite some good spaces there. IP in P4 from P9, so impressive racing from him. Pinnacle drops from P3 to P5, so that's not what he was looking for, but still a good result for Racing Point, P5. And in 6th place we have Silver Eagle coming from P10, so good racing. Skullface in P7. Iceland with Flair in P8, who made up 7 places, so really good racing as well. And then P9 is Frisky Biscuit, in P10 is Johnny, P11 is Raz, and then we have from P12 onwards we have a couple of DNFs in both the Haases, 1 Racing Point from Quaker, and WC and Salvini, and then I believe GTM, GMT in the Alfa Romeo as well. Thank you for watching. This was our Belgium Grand Prix in the Sunday Race League.